Alright guys, welcome to a new video on the channel, and yeah, I have attended the European Championship. We did a deck profile there, but the microphone was acting up, so I have to do it here. So yeah, I got the mat, I got the sleeves, I got a wonderful coin, and the prize card, the Charge of the Light Brigade, which is really nice. But yeah, this is my deck. We're talking about the main deck monsters, the spells, traps, the extra deck, and then the side deck. I played Fiendsmith, Bystial Tenpai, and I want to give some shout out before I go into the deck profile. So first of all, shout out to SBI for even giving me the idea to play this deck. I wanted to play something different before, and then he said, just try this, it might be something in your alley, and it was literally the perfect call. So huge shout out to him. Also shout out to Bludruk for lending me 3 more charming Meows that were insane all weekend. Shout out to Ozzy for lending me 1 Fiendmith Tract and 1 Fiendmith Requiem. And shout out to Connor from my local for lending me the Tenpai cards. I bought all of them in English anyway, but I decided to play the third Hydra, which I didn't have. So yeah, shout out to Connor too. But yeah. Apart from that, it was a wonderful day. I had a backup feature in round 3 against the national champion of Italy, I think, from 2022. I'm not sure. Yeah, he had a national champion badge, and then round 6 I had the live feature where I did a couple of mistakes, but that's okay because the deck is very forgiving. Anyways, I want to get into the profile. We go into the side deck later, in the extra deck later, and then we look into the deck really quick. So let's go through the monsters first, and obviously we're playing Fiendsmith Bystial Tenpai, so the Fiendmith engine has to be part of it. It's 3 Engraver, 1 Lacrima, and 1 Lurie. So I thought about upping the number of Lacrimas, but this has been working really well for me, and I don't think you need more, because I added a little bit more Tenpai normal summons, so you can either decide to play 1 more Lacrima or 1 more Hydra, I think. Because the amount of normal summons that are good is like always somewhat about 5. Sometimes more depending on your hand, but usually you only have like 5 good normal summons, which is 1 Lacrima, 3 Hydra, and 1 Chandra. The others are like kind of risky, like Lurie or again Roku are like, they're like a little bit iffy. Anyways, these are the Fiendsmith monsters. Then for the Bystials, I played the Bystial Lobellion. Also, I forgot to shout out my best friend Millie for lending me the Lobellions. Huge shout out to Millie too. Completely forgot about that. Lobellion was crazy all weekend. Like, Lobellion and the fact that you are able to play Branded Regain, which I'm going to show you later, is just crazy. Like, these cards are providing so much like stability, and they make you survive everything, even through Murakumo sometimes. You have to play a little bit good then, but that's not what I did on round 8, where I lost against Mitsurugi Raziel, but it's okay. And then, yeah, one of the MVPs in this deck, Bystial Magnum Hood, and then Druisworm and Baldrick for good measures. Yeah, so Druisworm was like the weakest out of all of them, funnily enough, because he's limited. Baldrick performed insane. Unfortunately, I was like extremely dehydrated round 8, so I forgot that he can banish Ritual, which cost me the game. And this was ultimately the reason why I went 7-2 and not 8-1 day 1, which was like would have been crazy. Magnum Hood was absolutely batshit crazy. Like, this card should not be legal. The fact that you can just add like Genroku and then Genroku special Hydra at Sangen Summoning or Sangen Kaim is just like, it's not okay. And also like the fact that you can add Baldrick and add pseudo like FDK against some decks is it's like straight up crazy. Yeah, like the Bystials performed really insane the tournament. I was kind of worried about Vanquish Soul, and my worries were like met in round 11 and 12, where I faced Vanquish Soul twice in a row and lost to both, which ended up costing me top 64, but it's okay. Next engine is the Tenpai engine, with the 1 Hydra from Connor, and then the 2 other Hydras. I originally played 2 Hydra, but I decided to go to 3 because I want to have like this crazy normal summon, and Hydra can also bridge into Fiendsmith engine, so that's like nice. 2 Genroku, it's always 2, because if you draw 1, then you cannot resolve it with Magnum Hood, so I always want to have 2. It never failed me. The one engine requirement, the Fadra, and then the literal MVP of the fucking deck, Shundra. This card is crazy, bro. I don't know how this card can be legal, but I've had so much fun resolving Shundra all weekend. And people are just like, they're rolling with their eyes, they're sighting, they're just, I think, because Shundra is just Shundra, man. Yeah, Tenpai is awesome. I also lost like 11 dice rolls out of 12. Also, the matchup spread somewhere in the corner, so you can see the tragedy. But I think, and a bit like, the fact that I played Tenpai ended up being a good call. And all the other cards here are hand traps. I decided to not run any board breakers, because I thought that hand traps are a little bit more fitting in this deck. And there's also some unusual choices here, because a lot of times you're ending on deck equip, because people tend to dedecor or Bystial your engraver, so you cannot get to Cedar, or they use Dominus Impulse and stuff like that. So what ends up happening is that you end on deck equip, but you sometimes still have the Lobellion and or the Magnum Hood, and then sometimes you also hard draw regained. So you have like deck equip regained, which is like if you activate a monster hand trap or the enemy, you draw one card off deck equip, and regained also draws you another card if a light or dark get banished. So it's 2 draws in the opponent turn. So I wanted most of my hand trap to matter in the opponent turn. So this is why I can spoil you already. I don't play any imperms. I've got hate for that actually, like not hate, but people were like questioned it really hard. It benefited me really nice. Like this is the goo. Let's get the ordinary stuff out of the way. 3 Fuva, 2 Perulia. Another shout out actually to Peter from my locals for lending me the Perulias. It's only 2, and I don't want to play any Perulias in the side deck. I thought that Fuva is better, and I wanted to play a 3rd Perulia, but I didn't have space. I couldn't fit it in the main because of mathematical reasons of the drawing the starters and 2 starters and like starters plus 10 traps that matter in the opponent turn when you go first. So the math was just not mathing, and this is why I had to go on 2 Perulia, and I didn't regret it. Like 2 was really nice, and yeah, Fuva was really insane. Yeah, then as I said, the ordinary stuff 3 draw. I think this lineup is mandatory. Maybe a 3rd Perulia for some decks that can play 3 from mathematical reasons. Also, my deck is playing Fiendsmith, so it's pretty weak into Fuva, so I also had to include 3 Ash Blossom. So this was my standard hand trap lineup. That is not, like, you cannot change that. I think every deck that's weak to Fuva or Perulia has to play Ash, and all the other hand traps are, like, good. Like, they have to be played, unfortunately. But yeah. So that was my hand trap lineup for the hand traps that are, like, necessary. And now there's some spicy tech here, which is 2 Nibiru, the primer being, then 2 Effect Vader, and 2 Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. And I said that Magnum Hood was the 2nd MVP, Chundra was the 1st MVP, this is the 3rd MVP. Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit was crazy all weekend. The fact that you can normal summon it and just let it on the board just to confuse your opponent, and then it's a quick effect, is so funny, because a lot of people actually don't know that. And yeah, I just want, as you can see, it's all light hand traps that I can discard on the opponent turn that I can also like just recycle with the Bystials. And I mean, you don't discard Nibiru, right? But if Nibiru lands in the graveyard somehow. And I also want to have maximum amount of lights or darks that I can discard off second summoning, so I can have Bystial them away for the Magnum Hood, so I can keep the Lobellion in the graveyard or the Engraver. Or like other Fiendsmith cards. So that was like actually really good. A lot of people questioned the Baylor, but the Baylor was really insane all weekend. Like Baylor and Ogre were crazy. Ogre being more crazy. The only one that actually didn't perform that crazy was Nibiru. Nibiru only popped up twice, or popped off twice, I think. And the other times it was just like there, you know. It was not like anything crazy, because Vanquish Soul doesn't play into it, etc. And yeah, these are the monsters. Let's come to the spells and traps. It's not that many, as you can see. So I play 2 tracked. I don't have the 2nd one with me here. I gave back to Aussie. But yeah, you have to play 2 tracked simply because you're playing like a bigger Fiendsmith package. And Fiendsmith is part of your like main engine. to grind, etc. So yeah, 2-track is necessary. And then with the 2-track, we also play the Paradise. Paradise didn't come up that often actually, but it's always great to have it as an option because sometimes you, in some weird game states, you have to banish your Requiem in order to get the regained. And the reason why you do that is because your grind game with the Bystials in the short term is long or like stronger than the grind game with the Fiendsmith cards. And you always really don't, you only need the third turn. Like if you have Magna in rotation, you only need third turn and you win the game. So a lot of time I ended up banishing the Requiem and thus not having access to the Paradise. Yeah, because we play Bystials, we play Planet Regained. And Branded Regained, absolutely crazy card. Has been performing all weekend long. Unfortunately, I didn't play as often against Malice as I wished to, because this card is actually crazy against Malice. The times I played, funnily enough, the times I played against Malice, I hard drew this card, which was, I mean, good, I guess. So yeah, Branded Regained crazy card for the grind game, and obviously it acts as an OTK tool with Magna Mood, right? So you go to Belly and Magna Mood, you set up Branded Regained special Magna Mood effect, Magna Mood, any enemy is like, sure, and then end phase can Rogo, Pydra, and it's just over. Like, they cannot do shit. Like, you can see this in my feature match in game 2 against Gisep that played Vanquish Soul. In round 2, he just tried to break my board. He didn't quite make it. And then he's like, okay, it's fine. I can pop your second summoning that you have set there. And I just go, okay, Magna Mood, Genroku, Pydra, at Sangan Kaiman to hand. And he's like, okay, I know that he has a Sangan Kaiman there. So yeah. Some power spells. I played 1 talent, 1 called by. I think these are necessary, especially talent. Talent has been crazy all weekend. I think we should ban talent, by the way. The amount of games the amount of not matches but games I've lost because of talent hard drawn by the opponent is crazy. And I've also won some games hard drawing talent. So yeah, this card is just too strong. Like hand information is not good. And yeah, then is it Tenpai card? Tenpai card. I don't know how these 2 cards can be legal together with Shundra. It just doesn't feel fair. So yeah, but these cards have been performing all weekend. Terraforming is sometimes weird if you draw Sangan Summoning, or if you set it with Pydra and you draw Terraforming, because I don't run a second fear spell. But it definitely needed to play this because having access to Sangan Summoning is just crazy. Yeah, and that was my whole deck. It's 44 cards, obviously for consistency. No, but the reason I played 44 is because I want to fit all of that I just explained to you. Because I had the mandatory engine, and then I want to play like a lot of hand traps, and I tried to like make it mathematically work make it work mathematically that I draw as many hand traps as I want, and I also draw into hand trap with Neko Quip and the Branded Regained. So I had to play a certain amount of hand traps, and so it just ended up being 40. It ended up being 43 with 2 Pydras. And then I made like test times, etc. And I felt like I needed a little bit more consistency to my Tenpai engine. So I added the 3rd Pydra, which in retrospect was the best decision I could have done. Yeah, that's the main deck. Coming to this extra deck, first of all, the Fiendsmith cards. The Caesar was great all weekend. Deathery, crazy card, especially together with Agnum Day that I'm also playing. Neko Princess is a wonderful card, bro. In this deck, you have so many ways to discard monsters per monster effect, and it's just wonderful, man. And then yeah, the Agnum Day, the sequence, then 2 Requiem. This one was lent by Ozzy, and then the Moon of the Clothed Heaven. So this is the Fiendsmith lineup. As you can see, it's 8 cards, which is more than half the extra deck, but it's also like the best engine I think in this deck. Apart from the Tenpai engine, because I mean, if you go to second Tenpai, it's just crazy. But yeah, the Fiendsmith part they acted as hand trap bait essentially, so I can get my regain going. So my game plan was essentially like I just start with Fiendsmith, and I try to get like Magna Mood in rotation. And if I don't, then that's also fine. I can just grind with Fiendsmith card until I see some Tenpai names. Because this engine, together with hand trap, is strong enough. You can see this in YCS Bologna, for example, with Joshua Schmidt's Fiendsmith Kasteria list. It's strong enough together with hand traps and like strong cards. like Kashira card. But in this case, it's just the Bystials that are doing the work. And if you draw into your Tenpai card, you just win. Like, this engine is crazy. I think it will get nerfed in the future, but we'll see about that. Two other, not two, but three cards, I think, that are... I don't want to say they are interchangeable, but I don't want to say they're mandatory. SP came up literally once only. Chaos Angel also came up only once. Typhon came up like 4 times or something. Typhon was actually crazy because he won me like the first 3 rounds of the tournament in day 1. The first 3 matches, I mean. Even though he didn't came up at testing once. So that was really nice. But yeah, SP and Chaos Angel really did not came up that often. Like, as I said, they only came up once each in 2 days, which is 12 rounds or 12 matches. But I would still play them simply to have the option. However, I am not gonna lie, I think one of them could be changed for a Duke of Demise. Because I had some situations where I had to normal summon something. I go Lobellion discard, Necrohub draw 1, and I draw into any Tenpai card, but I cannot normal summon them because I already normal summoned, because I had to. And then I could have went into Ziku and make Duke of the Might, additional normal summon, like Chundra or Pydra or Genroku, and then just win the game off that. But it would have not changed anything because I won these games anyways, but it's just an option, I think, that people can consider if they are picking up the deck. Then, Tenpai card, and the best cards in the extra deck. I'm not gonna lie, the best card in the extra deck was probably the Deathery with the how do you say that, the Paradise and also the on-field effect, and then also the Paradise on-field and the Graveyard effect. So this one was crazy. But Sears being able to special Magna and these cards just being the craziest OTK tools known to mankind, just it's not fair, man. Fun fact, I didn't summon Trident once. But you still have to have this guy because I had to show him twice, so I have it. So the enemy scooped up afterwards. But yeah, this was my extra deck, clean 15. I think you can change some cards here, but for me they are really good options that you should have. For the side deck, I played 2 Phantasmai, signed by Joshua Schmidt and Dinkabu yours truly. But this was DD Crow before, but I decided last second to go to Phantasmai, and it was a decision I did not regret at all. These carried me through 1 Mallet matchup, and these carried me also through 1 Vanquish Soul matchup. So that's really, really nice. There's not much to say about this card. It's just a, yeah, I mean, you have some cards that you want to discard to the graveyard. If you draw like a Paradise or some Molcharmies going first, then you still have the Phantasmai in hand, and then you can just drop the Phantasmai on board. It's another body they have to get rid of. It's a dragon if they stays on the board for seals for potentially. And so yeah, this was like a really great addition. And he's also level 7, but it didn't came up because I don't play level 7s in my like rank 7 in my Exceed lineup here. But yeah, this card was really good. I wouldn't miss it. I wouldn't miss it. I think it was a good choice to get rid of the DD Crows. Because I personally don't need like a graveyard hate. I have enough graveyard hate in my main deck. Then 1 Santa Claus because he is a thrustable kaiju. Because I also play Triple Tactics Thrust, as you can see here. And he's a light fiend, so you can search it off track. It came up quite a lot of times actually, especially like in Rogue. I feel like against Rogue and Vanquish Soul it came up a lot. Against Mitsurugi Raizil and Malice, I don't play this card because it's not good enough. It tributes to Murakuma, etc. just come back. But yeah, like the Santa Claus was really good in Rogue. And I played this card because of Lunar Light, just out of respect for Lunar Light. But I didn't play any Lunar Light, so it didn't came up there, but it was good regardless. Then for Malice, because I really don't have that many tools against Malice in the main deck, I decided to opt for a really huge side deck approach against Malice, which is 3 Molcharmy Meowas and 3 Lancia. Needless to say, they won me both Malice matchups that I played, So yeah, and again, shout out to Blue for lending me the Meows. They were performing all weekend again with the Rugi Rider too, even though I lost both of these matches. One Feather Duster together with 3 Thrust was really strong against the matchup where I needed it, and obviously because I play Thrust, I play Artifact Sanctum and Mischief of the Gnome. These cards performed really strong, and I would not miss a Thrust package. I think if you play like longer tournaments, the Thrust package is something that you have to include in your deck, simply because these decks will be. I mean, I didn't face like a lot of them, but yeah, it was okay, and I wouldn't miss it. But yeah, that's the deck. I was very happy with it, or like with how the deck performed. I got 161st place out of 2,235 players, I think. Again, I'll show my matchup spread here somewhere on the screen. And yeah, shout out to Chaos Emperor Dragon and Void of the End for being my field center of choice for this tournament. He was very beloved by my opponents because a lot of people like this card, and myself obviously too. But yeah, this deck was a really strong meta call, and shout out again to my friends who yeah, just tested with me and who got me the ideas for some other cards. I'm very happy with my performance and how this event turned out for me. It was my third day too, so I'm really proud of that. Even though I lost like a lot of dice rolls, this deck can go second, but I prefer to go first because the advantage you have going first is just crazy. But yeah, thank you for watching. If you have any questions or any criticism, then leave it down in the comments below. And until then, I think I will see you until the next video. Goodbye.